well, welcome everybody to our Women in Sport webinar. Excited to have everybody here. There's lots of people, holy smokes, more than our first go at it, which is good, but makes me a little nervous. So my name's Kayla. I'm a game day events coordinator for the Kodiaks here. I also currently work in the recreation services downstairs. And I do a bit of the social media for the Kodiaks, so really good gig. I'm also a former ACAC athlete and youth sport athlete, so I have a bit of background with that. So yeah, that's my background. I'm gonna also just hand it right back over to Todd, and he can do a couple of intros, and then we'll come back my way again.
Well, and I appreciate that. And welcome everybody. I am Todd Coughlin. I am the manager of athletics and recreations for the services for the Kodiaks. And yeah, like Kayla, I'm not gonna lie, I'm seeing all these people come in and I'm kind of going, whoa, this is awesome. But I will admit, everything I was hoping it was gonna be. This is something that, I wouldn't say an initiative, but a topic that is definitely dear to my heart and something that I've taken a real big pride in trying to make sure we build up the equity and equality for the Kodiaks women's sports along with the men's sports. And, you know, it's all about developing and building a culture. And I think we've done that. It started with the coaching staff and it's definitely trickled down into our athletes. We've got a great crowd here. And one of the things, it's a complete effort. And so we've got Ada Holly on here too. And I know that we're going to get through some introductions here and we'll let Kayla handle that. But everybody plays a part, and the strong women leaders are so crucial in this. So it's going to be a good night. And, you know, we've designed it to be very casual, relaxed, you know, at the campfire kind of an idea. We've got some set questions, but really this is just a chance to, I mean, look at this room. I mean, some of the women in this room are truly just awe-inspiring. And I'm just lucky to be able to call a bunch of you my friends. Some of you might not like me too much, but, you know, I've kind of got used to that too. That's just primarily Ada and Holly because they have to put up with me every day. But, you know, that's just the perk of my job. But yeah, and we're going to get into it. But I do have to acknowledge right off the get-go, a couple of special guests, actually. I noticed, I think I seen Paige just sign on. But first and foremost, I wanted to go to Miss Sarah Orban, or Zorbs, former Kodiak athlete, both indoor track and women's soccer. Lucky enough, I got to meet Sarah my first year here, which was back in 2014. And now, national team member with Cycling Canada. And I know she's joining us from Ontario. So Sarah, I just wanted to be able to give you this time to let you say hi.
Thank you. Yeah, hi everybody. Sarah Orban, and yeah, I attended Lethbridge College from 2013 to 2016. I was on the women's soccer team, and I also picked up track there. I was encouraged to just try out for the team from the athletic director at the time, right before you, Todd. And yeah, so from Lethbridge College, I went to the University of Lethbridge, where I also played soccer and track. And yeah, sorry, I don't know, I'm a little nervous. I feel like I need like some questions or something.
We won't put you on the spot. Okay. We'll get you later.
I don't know what you want to say. Yeah.
We'll get you later. And also a special guest, who I know just through the connections, is Paige Corzone, who's former Olympic team and national team athlete as well. So Paige, I haven't had the privilege of meeting you, but welcome to the conversation.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
We'll
like you mentioned, yeah, my name is Paige Corzone. This is actually my daughter Poppy too. And thank you to Steph for inviting me. So my sister Taylor and I, who's also on the call, we're from Humboldt, Saskatchewan originally. Taylor went to the University of Lethbridge to play for the Pronghorns, and I went down to the University of Utah. I played with the national team for 10 years, still a member of the 3-on-3 team, and professionally for a year, and now I'm the coach at the U of L.
and we'll make you the honorary Kodiak just for the night.
Thank you. I'm very honored.
It's a special title. You know, not everybody gets it. So, you know, but no, Paige, thank you very much for joining us. We'll look forward to hearing some of your story. So, all right, back to Kayla.
Oh, I wasn't ready. All right. So I'm just going to introduce our student athletes on the call first here. And I'm just going to go with who I see on my screen first. So whoever I call on, you can just introduce yourself and the sport you play for, maybe what you're taking in school. And if you want to give a little answer to what women in sport means to you. No pressure though, because like we've said, we're a bit nervous on here. There's lots of faces, which is great. So I'll start with Kirsten Barwagon. I see you first here. So if you don't mind.
Yeah, my name's Kirsten Barwagon, and this would have been my 4th year. I play for women's basketball. I'm in my last year of my degree in justice studies, and yeah, I played all 4 years here at the college. And in answer to that question, I don't know. I think that's super loaded, but women in sport, to me, I guess. When I read that question previously, I just thought, wow, I'm just always inspired when I see women in sport, and especially like super strong female athletes and just people, and we have a great abundance of that here at the college. So,
right on. Thank you, Kirsten. And I have to say, one of my favorite pictures to choose from when I'm posting on social is that photo of you I used in the story today. There's just so much emotion and passion in that photo. I love it. So that's my
go. When I
first
saw it, I was like, I hate that picture. And then one of my friends was like, no, you can tell you're just in the moment and that you're just yelling. I was like, okay, I guess that's fair enough.
Oh yeah, you look sweet in that picture. All right, so thank you, Kirsten. Next on my screen, we have Sarah Hazen.
I'm Sarah. I play for the women's volleyball team at the college. It's my going into my 2nd year at the college, playing for the Kodiaks. And I am taking nursing in school, the Bachelor of Nursing RN program. And to answer the question, being a woman in sport feels almost like a privilege. And I am so passionate about developing that culture and that equality for women. It shows confidence and it teaches confidence for women and for girls of all ages. And I think it's important for women in sport to defy like the gender stereotypes and everything around that, and show us as equals to men, which is super, super important to me. And yeah, I think it's important to everyone here. For me, it's such an inspiring position to be in, and to be able to play as part of the Kodiaks and be a voice. And I'm just super passionate about continuing to stand up and be a voice for female athletes. So yeah.
Right on. Yeah, we always have you at our pep rallies, you and our next person, Kayla. So you guys are always a good voice to go to. So appreciate having you here at the Kodiaks Nation, if you will. So like I said, next on my screen is Kayla Monroe.
Hi, my name's Kayla. I'm on the women's cross country and track team, and I'm taking my justice degree. And I think the biggest impact I've taken away from women in sport is the relationships I've been able to build with both my teammates and coaches. That's been really valuable, and I've also built a lot of confidence from it.
Right on. Thank you, Kayla. And then my next one and my last one here is Brooklyn Bellavance.
Hi, my name is Brooklyn Bellavance. Most people know me as Belly around the college. I'm taking my degree in ecosystem management right now, and I'll be graduating from that shortly. But to answer the question, for me, women in sports growing up usually meant being able to keep up with the boys. And I'm sure that makes sense if you know me well. So it's really exciting that these kind of conversations are happening. So little girls can grow up playing sports and be able to have female role models and leaders to look up to, rather than feeling like they need to find a male role model in the same sport to have the same effect. So that's what I'm most excited about these types of conversations, is the next generation being able to see somebody who looks like them and acts like them in sport.
Yeah, I love that. We're going to change it to keeping up with the girls. So I'll hand it back to Todd for now. Thanks, guys.
Okay, well, I get the privilege of introducing the admin and staff that come in. They're part of the call here. And then we're going to actually get a little bit of a spiel, if you will, from our Girl Gang YQL initiative leaders. And so looking forward to hearing from them. But to start, and I'm just going to kind of go who I could see on my screen here first. And again, same thing, just introduce yourself, what position you have at the college. And okay, Nikki, I'm going to let you off easy and just say, let you answer the question that the other athlete, the student athletes got. But I'm going to mix it up for the next person I get. So go ahead, Nikki.
All right, it's a good time to go first. So I'm Nikki Furukawa. I am a assistant coach for the men and women's soccer team here at the college. Yeah, I used to play with Kayla, so we have the same background in that, and Sarah as well, actually, Sarah Orban. To me, women in sports, I mean, when I was younger, I had a few female coaches that I looked up to and are inspiration to me. So I'm just happy to be a part of this team and pass my knowledge and experiences on to the girls that I'm coaching and help them achieve what they want to achieve.
Thank you very much. All right, Coach Simpson, you're on.
What's my question?
The question's going to be, who's been an inspiration to you?
Okay. So I'm Deanna Simpson. I am the head coach, co-head coach of the women's basketball team. I've been with the college for 8 years, and I actually played 1 year with Taylor at the university, so Paige's sister. So it was kind of cool. All of a sudden, Taylor's face popped up, and I was like, "Oh, Taylor's on the call." So yeah, I've been at the college for 8 years. Who's been an inspiration to me? When we got that email, like kind of with the prep questions that we could think about, I started thinking about like famous women basketball coaches that I looked up to. But then I actually settled on like, and it settled is a bad term, but the more I thought about it was my coach that I had at the college in the States. She was our assistant coach, but her and her husband coached together. And when I went there for my first year, she had had a baby in the middle of August, and we started 2 weeks later at the beginning of September. So my entire first year, she was raising a newborn with 2 older kids. They traveled everywhere with us. And so her passion that she had for the game of basketball, and then also for us, not just as athletes, but as people, I always find myself looking back on what Carrie did. Okay, Carrie did it this way. I'm going to try it that way first. So she was really inspiring to me. And even on a personal note, when I tore my ACL in high school, going into my senior year and didn't get to play, I thought about actually giving up basketball entirely and just going to school. And leaving my playing days behind me, which in turn would have left my coaching days behind me. But Carrie wrote me a letter. I'd known her for 4 or 5 years at that point anyways, talking about, you know, I can't give it up. It's a part of who I am. She wanted to see me play. And that's the reason that I ended up going to that school and continuing to play basketball.
Pulled the rookie move. Sorry, I was muted. All right. Thanks, Dee. Appreciate that. And I'll just side note to that. And I know we're going to get to Anna. And you know what? I might even put Anna on the spot, even though it's not in my order here. But, you know, we hired Anna and Deanna on. Both came in. Like you could say we took the chance on them because neither came in with the head coaching experience. But I got to tell you, they have both done an incredible job leading. It really has been so much fun to watch them develop, mature, but never back away from what their strengths are. So, I mean, very proud of what they've done. So now just segue right into Coach Schwark.
That was nice of you to say. I'm gonna get a little bit teary-eyed. So thanks. So yeah, I am Anna Schwerk. Like Deanna, I've been at the college for 8 years, started as an athlete, assistant coached in between there, and then transitioned into the head coach role with the women's volleyball team. So that's me. I don't know what my question is though.
You've already forgot that, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot it already too.
Okay.
Who's been an inspiration to you?
Inspiration to me, I kind of have two directions that I want to take it. Similar to Deanna, like I think the famous people pop up. Since I started coaching, I started to do like more virtual webinars and stuff, and I came across a We Coach webinar, a summit. First of all, I highly suggest that, I mean, men and women, but women, if you want to, surround yourself with a group of kick butt women that are involved in sport, check out We Coach. But Muffet McGraw, she was a Notre Dame women's basketball coach for like 32 seasons. She was just an all-star. She just recently retired. So check her out on Twitter and all social medias. She's awesome to follow. She's just a really powerful voice for women. She's a strong advocate, especially right now with maybe some controversies going on between, men versus women's sport. So she was my first thought. And then second thought, I just realized how fortunate I am to be surrounded by so many inspirational women, similar to what Deanna said. And for me, I was like, man, like Deanna inspires me every day, like having a baby and showing up every day. She's, managing her house and her job and so many other girls that she's taken on under her wing. And all the other coaches that we have here, Holly and Ada up in the office, that are just amazing multitaskers. And the other women coaches that I coach with and against in the league. I think I'm fairly new yet to the realm of head coaching. And so I'm just really fortunate. I have so many women just right in front of me to look up to. I think that's just fantastic. I'm really blessed to have that opportunity.
That's
Anna,
awesome.
this isn't fair. You're the crier, not me. You're not allowed to make me
gotta bring someone down with me, Deanna.
Well, geez, now who do I pick on next then, I guess? Man, well, you know what? I'll go after the competitive one in our department, and she's going to probably answer before I even have to say her name. Will she?
I know that's me.
There it is. And I mean that in a very good way. We have fun with it every day. It keeps everybody on their toes. So Ada Larson.
Yes, I'm Ada. I am the coordinator of athletics and rec services at the college. I've been there for 9 years. When I first started, it was an all-male coaching team. And so having Anna and Deanna join in with us was really great. It's been great to have the female perspective there in our meetings, and they pipe up all the time. There's no kind of intimidation factor there. So it's been great having those two with us. Do I get a question as well?
Would you like one? I'm going to leave that option to you and Holly.
Well, I could talk about a role model that I've had. It's actually not someone specific, but at Lethbridge College, there are a lot of strong women in leadership roles. The president of the college is a woman. Most of the executive leadership team are women. And so they're not specifically in sports. They're not sports role models. They're big supporters of sports. And so I think that kind of helps to explain there's more than athletes and coaches in sports. If you want to be involved as a woman in sports, there are a lot of other roles, from the admin team, announcers, owners of teams. There are a lot of different ways to be involved in sports and a woman in sports. So I just wanted to highlight that too.
Thank you, Ada. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad that you went down that road, because say once we get through some more introductions here, I think that's where we get to put the girl gang girls on on Spotlight. So Holly, your turn.
Hi, everybody. I'm Holly, and I'm the athletics admin assistant. And I've been in athletics for 5 years, going on 6, but I've been at the college a couple of decades. I'm not going to tell you how many, but it's been a few. I love it. I love the people, and every one of the female student athletes on this call, and the coaches and the supporters that don't have their cameras turned on. You're all inspiring, and it's great to have you here.
Thanks, Holly. And now we're going to go to some more of our, I guess, one of the fun things to watch that's evolved in my time here. I'd say I got here in 2014. So almost 8 years, which is kind of crazy to think. It's kind of flown by, but is to see all the other developing coaches come in. Nikki was one of them. Somebody that we just brought on, who I'm going to go at next, is Danielle. So your turn.
Hi, everyone. My name is Danielle Fritzky. It's my first year as assistant coach of the women's basketball team. I played 5 years, or I guess 4 years of basketball at the U of L, and I actually played a year of volleyball at Mount Royal my first year. I actually am currently the elementary phys ed teacher out in Raymond. So I just kind of wanted to comment on that. I think with being in Lethbridge and Southern Alberta being quite a competitive sport place, it's awesome to have the opportunity to teach young females in grade 1 to 6 and kind of give them a leeway for finding their love for sport and supporting them and making sure that everybody's recognized and they can find what they love in sport and not feel like that they're looked over throughout school. So making sure that every young woman gets recognized.
Perfect. Thanks, Danielle. And yeah, we brought her into the mix, and I know her and I were chatting the other night, and just kind of hit me where she made a comment about, man, I can't wait to actually meet everybody. I was saying, meet everybody. I was like, oh yeah, she started right when COVID hit, so she wouldn't know that many faces, but there you go. Now we're going to go to another side of the game that has really blossomed in, I guess you could say, in my time here, and that's the people that take care of our athletes when they get hurt. And so, you know, I can't say enough about good things about these guys as well. I'm going to pick on the elder statesman here first, and that would be Miss Robin Gieske. Not that she made, I know Carolyn's older, but Robin's just been around like forever. So,
well,
Robin,
I'm just glad you finally learned how to pronounce my last name properly. So yes, my name is Robin Gieske. I have been a trainer, athletic therapist / various other titles with the college soccer programs for the last 10 years, which is kind of crazy to say. It doesn't feel like it's actually been that long. So yes, I wear many hats on and off the field, as Todd is well aware. And I work very closely with Carolyn and have had the pleasure of working with her for a long time too. So do I have a question to answer, or is that all you needed to know?
You know what? The floor is yours. If you would like to answer one of the questions asked, or just tell us more about why you are where you are.
Well, I guess where I'm at. So I mean, I grew up playing soccer, and I unfortunately had a career-ending injury when I was 19. So that kind of geared me towards a rehab and of a career goal. So I have my kinesiology degree. But in 2011, I was approached by the women's coach at the time, who I had actually coached with LFC, Barry. So he approached me to come work with the college, and I've been there ever since. And it's just been a way for me to stay in the game of soccer that I love and grew up loving. So it's been a great opportunity for that. And now I get to take my experience as an athlete and instill that on the girls coming up. And I've had the pleasure working with Sarah Orban and Taylor I worked with at the university when she was playing basketball there. So it's yeah, that's just keeping me in the game, and it's really hard to leave. I found this year being on a break from not training, so I'm excited to get back up and get going again.
Thank you very much. And the other inspiration in our athletic training, Miss Carolyn.
Hello, I'm Carolyn. I'm the head athletic therapist with the Kodiaks. I've been doing this, I hate to age myself, for 20 years now. The first 15 were spent in men's hockey, which from when I started to now has come a long ways. And I definitely faced some battles and inequality starting in men's hockey, but there has been some good improvements. So I think it's nice to see that things are going the right direction. I'm in my 4th year with the Kodiaks here, and I don't know, Todd, do you want me to say something about inspiration too, or?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I guess I was lucky when I was going to university. I had a really great professor that I worked with who was an athletic therapist, and she worked with men's hockey and football and really instilled that equality is a big thing and we can do anything our male counterparts can do and never shy away from anything. So I just kind of went in with that mindset, and it worked out well for me. And it was nice to have that role model that, you know, we really can do anything. And if we can inspire the younger generation, then I think that's great and what I kind of strive to do.
And I just know that Carolyn's positive impact in just our, like say, our culture has truly has no ends to it. So I know it's a relief on my part to knowing that we've got people like Robin and Carolyn taking care of all the student athletes. That's something that makes me sleep at night, even though I don't technically do that, but that's okay. So part of our, I guess this initiative is we were trying to find sponsors and people that, you know, that have made impacts. And we got to thank obviously KISS and The Rock for being one of our sponsors. And we've got a couple of gift or prizes, door prizes to give out at the end. But the other one is I've been lucky enough to meet the two that are on the call anyways, right when I first got back. And they started an initiative, and I'm going to let them talk about it, but its title is Girl Gang YQL. And I got to tell you, it's truly an inspiring initiative in the city of Lethbridge. But before I keep going, I'm going to let them go. But I'm glad that they came on board with us here. And so Stephanie Whirl and Jess Fair, I'm going to shut up. It's all you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Todd. We always kind of get floored by sort of the connection you make with our work and with the Kodiaks over the last couple of years. So we're really appreciative to be here and really honored to be here with all of you. And for really just to kind of give you a background of what we do, myself, Jess Fair, Taylor Crozon, and 3 other of our buddies. A few years ago, we've all been really community minded people and worked for community in a lot of different ways here in Lethbridge. And we love this place. And really, we came together with that mindset of we want to empower other people. We want to encourage ourselves, encourage our friends, and encourage our community to ultimately sort of be kind and support each other and foster that community spirit. And so we've been really, really lucky over our 3-4 year journey, if you will, on what we've been able to do here in this community. And it's been with people like Todd and partnerships with the Kodiaks, with Make Some Noise for Mental Health, and just other community partnerships we've been able to do. And we were able to raise some really amazing funds. I think 26,000 probably over the last few years, and to local organizations who are doing that great work already. And we want to lift those organizations up. We want to lift others up in the community. And that's really what we're about, is kind of creating those spaces and those places that are safe and encouraging. We just so happen to be run by 6 pretty badass women who I am pretty pumped and inspired to call my friends, but also to call colleagues and partners in this journey that we've sort of started. So if you haven't heard of us before, definitely head on over to our website, check out some of the work that we do, and reach out. It's just about sort of supporting other people, being kind, encouraging other people, loving ourselves, and really fostering that community. So we're just really excited to be here and start to sort of have these conversations. So thank you, Todd.
Yeah, thanks, Todd, so much for letting us hop on here. It's pretty awesome to see all your faces. I'm actually a Kodiak myself. I played volleyball from 2003 to 2005. And I've been an athlete my whole life, whether it's volleyball or, well, really just volleyball, but running half marathon. Once Steph and I did that. I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to do that again, but it was pretty cool to know that we could do it. And just talking about, our relationships with our, male and female counterparts in sport. I was just trying to think if I ever had a woman as a head coach. And the answer is no. The only women that I had as coaches were the wives of the men that were the head coaches. So I am loving seeing these women step up in the head coaching roles all over the place. I mean, let's get real. We get a lot of stuff done. We can motivate each other. We, step up where we need to, and we wear lots of hats, which is super important when you're, talking to the younger generation. So, Girl Gang Kindness, although we're not sport focused, we're all community minded women that like to lift each other up, like Steph said. So it's really cool to be here. And thanks, Todd, for inviting us.
I am very happy both of you were able to make it. So it's kind of cool. I just want to give one more shout out before handing over to Kayla, because I have definitely been talking too much. But I wanted to acknowledge Sarah Hazen and Kayla Monroe. They are actually our first co-chairs of our Kodiaks Leadership Council, which is the student athlete led group where it's a representative from every sport within this group, but those two stepped up and have taken over the chair positions, and it's been tough. We started the initiative last February, so you can guess where obviously we had some challenges right off the get-go, and we've continued to do it. But I got to tell you what, these two have been rock stars, and again, I know that the initiative would have died without them, so I'm glad they're on board with that. So I just wanted to say a special thanks to those two. And Kayla, I'm muting.
About time, Todd. Just kidding, of course. Just to piggyback on what Todd just said, though, I've worked with Kayla and Sarah, last year when we were able to do stuff, and a little bit here and there through the virtual campaigns, and they have been a real joy to work with. So thank you. Big shout out to you guys. They're very, very helpful. And so now we're gonna go over to Sarah and Paige. We're gonna kind of put you guys on the spot. Sarah's got the question ahead of time, so I'll go to her first. Paige, give you a bit of time to maybe think about a bit of a reply. So the question is, how is it important to have strong women leaders in sport development, growth, and leadership? And so yeah, Sarah Orban, I guess I should clarify, that's for you, if you would like to take the floor.
Sorry, I was muted. I just think, it's like, just to piggyback on like everything everyone's saying, it's so important to have female role models and leaders in sport, just for the younger generation, and setting, positive goals for girls. And yeah, I mean, I haven't had too many, like, even just like thinking back to the time that I played soccer and ran track, like I didn't have too many role models that were females. And like, I also didn't ever have a head coach that was a woman. So really it was just, my teammates were my role models, and the older, vets on the team. Like, so I just think it's super important moving forward to, have those female figures to look up to. And yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I couldn't agree more. And obviously, as we know, we got to play together. I think Ilsa might have been the assistant coach at the time, maybe.
Yeah,
Fred?
she was. Yeah. I came right when she became. Well, I guess Fred stepped up into the head coach position. So
yeah, so it was kind of cool to have Ilsa there, but yeah, until she became a head coach. So no, thank you, Sarah. And Paige, I'll bring it over to you if you don't mind.
Yeah, thank you. And just to echo what Sarah said, I completely agree, just to have role models as well as representation for younger generations. And oh, sorry, just make sure I'm muted. Perfect. One of my mentors when I was playing at the University of Utah, he went on to become the assistant coach for the San Antonio Spurs, and they hired the first ever women's basketball coach in the NBA, Becky Hammon. And he just mentioned about the voice that she brought and a different perspective. With that being said, sport still has a long way to go in terms of equality and just empowering women in those positions. I've been involved now on the men's side for a few years, and most of the organizations that I've worked with have been male dominated. And I'm also a single mom, so I would go into the organization and ask kind of like what their commitments are and say, hey, like I have a small child, and just be upfront in the beginning. And they are always like, well, we expect 100% commitment. It's like, well, it's not that I'm not committed. It's that, like I have a little human that relies on me. But if it's an all kind of male staff, they might have never had that perspective. So I think it's really important just to share my experience and share, I guess, like knowledge, for lack of a better word. Like I want to be there and I want to be committed. And these are some of like the hurdles that I face as a single mom and as a woman. And so if we can find like an accommodating situation, I can be that a different voice, a different perspective, and add value to your organization while also being a mom. And I know Deanna had mentioned that she has a little one. So same thing, like my little comes to practice all the time. She grows up in the gym. And I haven't, and with COVID especially, I haven't had the opportunity to necessarily separate my private life and my home life with my work life. And I don't think that should be the case. And I think organizations should empower women in those positions, that you can have a family and you can still be a leader and contribute and add value to your organization.
Yeah, thank you so much, Paige. I love that. I know, so we had International Women's Day not that long ago, and I believe it was Anna's quote saying why it's important for women as leaders is to have leaders that look like us, have the same views as us. Anna, do you remember what you said there? I don't want to misread your quote.
No, yeah, it was something along the lines like we deserve women leaders, because I want a leader that understands what it is to be a woman in this world, who has experienced the same challenges, shared experiences with me, knows just how difficult it can be sometimes navigating life. I think whether you're 3 years old or you're 93 years old, you deserve to have that representation from your leaders in any area of your life, in all areas of your life.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I also just want to take this time, because I don't think we mentioned it earlier. If there's any questions, like feel free to put your hand up or type it out in the chat. Deanna, did you want to touch on that as well? Just why you think it's important to have strong women as leaders in our sport and development?
Yeah, I might take this a little bit different way than is not necessarily the intention of this, but I think it's really important to see women leaders in sport. Paige touched on Becky Hammon, in these different roles, because it's not only for us, but it's for the young men in our lives as well. I'm sure a lot of the women here can touch on the misogyny that they dealt with in sport, growing up and dealing with those types of things. And I know, again, I'm a very anecdotal person, but when we won a national championship at the school I was at, a close friend of mine looked at me and said, well, it's just a women's championship. And hearing that, something that stuck with me, obviously, for over 10 years. But I think now we're seeing more women in these higher, leadership roles, and these young men are seeing them as an example. And there's no difference between, well, it's a woman, it's a man, whoever. They're learning that respect. Talking about the equity issues right now between NCAA men's and women's basketball, the people commenting on it that are having an issue with it are not the male athletes. It's not their NCAA counterparts. It's not the NBA players. It's your average Joe who hasn't had the experience of seeing strong women in sport or strong women in leadership roles. So they think we're just complaining. So to have these women is not only a big deal for the young girls, but also the young boys who are learning that women can do whatever we can do.
Oh, I love that answer. And I'm glad someone brought up the NCAA issue that has recently been happening. I'm sure most of us have seen that online, and just rattles me. I'd also just like to jump onto that. I'll share a little story as well that you made me think of, Deanna. Something someone said to me when I was a soccer player, well, I still am, when I was playing soccer one day. I was playing with mostly men. I think there was maybe one other girl playing with me. And I'm good at what I do. I know I'm good at what I do. And I was scoring goals. I was doing all the things, and I'm not afraid to say it. And he comes up to me. He's like, you know what? You're actually not too bad for a girl. And I was so angry. That stuck with me for so long. And I'm at a point in my life, if someone says that to me now, I'll be like, you know what? You're actually pretty bad for a guy. I wouldn't say that, but I am willing to call people out and tell them, like, I'm just a good player. I'm not good for a girl, So that really sticks with me too. And so I think it's cool that we have these kinds of conversations where we can open it up. Hopefully our younger generation can feel confident to call out those comments and, build that equality for both men and women to see, like, yeah, everybody can be a strong leader. So I think that's really great. Did anyone have anything they wanted to add on to that? Strong leaders, women as leaders at all?
I'll maybe jump in here and introduce myself, because I know I like, now that I'm on the call, I have so many connections with people, with Danielle and Robin. It's so great to see. And I think that's what you realize is, like Paige said, we're from a small town in Saskatchewan, and it feels like Lethbridge is a big small town sometimes. And I think you realize how many connections there are when you get into the sport world and you kind of start to get involved with the community. And I think for Girl Gang, it's kind of that empowering factor. And I think sport is a great equalizer, and we know we're good leaders because, like look at Lethbridge College and the kind of the pedigree that comes out of there. And I think it's continuing that and realizing that as a leader, what you develop in sport also carries through in your life. And so I took a different path after playing at the university and then coaching, and then went back to school for my master's degree in architecture, and realizing too that the same issues that you face in sport and are kind of the issues that you face in life, and the skills that you've developed in sport carry over. So I think that's something that's been really empowering for me. And I think that's kind of what we need to instill in our girls going forward, is if you can be a leader on the court or on the field, that you can also be a leader in whatever career or life you choose, and kind of realizing that when we see that the weight room equality is not there, that also carries over to what other jobs are women not getting into, thinking about how many women have left the workforce since COVID has happened to take care of their families, and realizing that we need to stand up and kind of be leaders for those areas of our life as well. So that's kind of my 2 cents, and just, I thought I would jump on with that connection to everyone on the call. So thanks.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Taylor. There are a lot of connections here we're seeing. So just with that, I'd like to jump over to Kirsten Barwagon. Gonna kind of throw you on the spot again. And Sarah Hazen as well after, but do you guys have anything that you'd like to say on what it's been like having role models that are your coaches, that are head coaches, and they're female? What's that been like versus maybe in your past having coaches that have been male? If you have anything to add on that.
Yeah. Yeah, in high school, I played a lot of soccer and I only played a little bit of basketball, but I actually never had a female head coach. And I always played co-ed soccer. So to me, it wasn't like, oh, it's girls versus guys. It was always like, yeah, like you said, like, I'm good. I'm not good for a girl. I'm good. So, but yeah, when I came to the college and yeah, Deanna was, it kind of was, the old head coach was phasing out and he was, yeah, a male. And then Deanna was coming in. It was like, okay, this is going to be maybe an adjustment. I don't know what it's going to be like to have a female head coach. And if you ever have like 3 hours, talk to Deanna about her history and how inspiring her story is on just everything she's gone through and her basketball. It's pretty incredible, and I'm actually amazed every day that I get coached by somebody who is so successful in what she does, and especially for her position, and it helps a lot for that we actually play similar positions in basketball. So yeah, I think just that wealth of knowledge that I get to tap into so regularly on a day-to-day basis. And then when Danny stepped in too, it was like I just got to meet another badass, sorry, kick butt girl who dominated in her sport as well at the university, and getting to hear some of the stories of what she's gone through and watching some game film, it's like, okay, she's legit. She knows what she's talking about. And then scrimmaging against her and then her hitting a three on my head, and you just kind of walk away like, these women are incredible. So I guess I should listen to what they're saying to me. So
Right on. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think I could. If you wanted to say anything, go for it. But
what did you say?
Sorry, I didn't hear you, Kayla. What'd you say?
Oh, I just said if you guys wanted to say anything, go for it.
I was just gonna say, Kirsten and I had a tough road to get to where we are at. I'd only had one female coach prior to stepping into the head coaching role. So there's a lot that I had to learn, and Kirsten was my guinea pigs on a lot of things. We butted heads for quite a while, but now we're good. Like Kirsten is my go-to if there's anything that I need. Kirsten's the one I go to. So it's been, I think, that relationship with the athletes as well. I think Anna might say the same thing. Like we learn from them just as much as they say they learn from us, because we're always trying to learn and grow. So
very cool. Sarah Hazen, you can go ahead there. Sorry, I kind of cut you off.
No, that's okay. I can definitely say the same thing about Anna. I have had male coaches and male just people in my life that were at the top all my life, in basketball, track, badminton, volleyball. I've honestly never had a strong female until I came to college. And seeing Anna, like, she is such a huge role model, and I know it's not just me, and I know it's not just my whole team, but like she's a role model for the entire Kodiak athletics, and not just Kodiak athletics, but for the whole ACAC and for every sport, and not just volleyball. And I think it's so powerful that she's not just like a strong she's not just a strong female coach, but she's also a strong female in life, and she knows how to stick up for herself, and she empowers us to do the same for ourselves, and wants us to feel equal, and wants us to feel big and powerful with whatever we do in school, in life, in athletics. And she just pushes us so hard to be the best we can be, not just on the court, but off the court. And I think that having her, and she's one of the main reasons that I'm not leaving the sport to continue my nursing education. And I've like talked to her about this, about how I have clinicals, and she said, no, like school comes first, life comes first, your mental health comes first, and we'll be here for you when you're done that, and you can always come back to volleyball. And so yeah, I think she's one of the main reasons that I'm staying in the sport and not just for one more year and not just for 2 more years, but for 3 or 4, hopefully till till I can't come back anymore. But yeah, she is honestly one of the most inspiring people in my life.
Thank you, Sarah. Anna, the floor is yours for that one. That was really nice. If you're ready to follow up.
I'm not sure if we have to go to Anna right now. We might need just
Yeah.
a little bit of recoup time there.
I know, that was really nice.
Go ahead, Anna. And let's, we can put Belly on the spot if you just want to catch your breath.
Sure. No, I'll just say thanks. Like well, it's just gonna keep coming, so I'm gonna talk through it. That's my goal, right? Like, as a coach, that's what I want my athletes to feel. That's what I wanted to feel as an athlete, and female coach, women coaches for myself or not. I still had some fantastic coaches that made me feel valued, and some that didn't. So I kind of learned, I learned just the kind of coach that I want to be. And it's very humbling and very rewarding to know that even just like a fraction of what I want them to feel, they're feeling, and that I can have any sort of impact that's so positive on my athletes. At the end of the day, that's the goal. Like, the winning is great, but like, I want Sarah to want to be at practice every day. I want Sarah to want me as a reference. I want Sarah to go out there and be the best nurse possible, right? And be confident while she does it. Like, that's what I want. So it's just really exciting. Like, that's what you want to hear. That's why we do it. That's why we coach. So yeah, thanks, Sarah.
Oh, I love this. I'm feeling so inspired. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to share? The floor is definitely open. Yeah, any role models you'd like to call out or anything like that, please feel free.
I just want to add, or I'd like, just talking about the college, I think they do an amazing job at, promoting women in sport. And I think from the first year that I even joined the college, I never felt like there was this huge disparity, like, between men's and women's sport. Like, just a couple stories I had, I think it was my first semester for sure. And I walked past Todd in the hallway, and like, I knew who Todd was, but he just looked me in the eyes and he goes, "Oh, hey, Kirsten, how's it going?" And I think my jaw literally dropped. I was like, how does he know who I am? And like, this guy makes a point of knowing every single athlete's name. And even before you've even like had an introduction or a conversation with him, which I think is huge. And like, to that, like, Heggie, the men's head coach too, is always making a huge point of, the guys are going to go watch the women's game, and without fail, the boys are there. They're in the stands, like half an hour before tip off. And just watching, I think, athletes supporting other athletes. I love watching the other sports here. And I think I've seen every single one of the other athletes here play. Even the track team, I did not know who was winning when I did watch. I was confused on what lap we were on, but there's some pretty amazing female athletes that compete in these at this school.
I think Danielle had her jumped in there for next. So, and thank you, Kristen.
Yeah, I think kind of piggybacking off what you said is just when I came in, also just in talking to Todd, he was really inspiring and just encouraging about how they want to have women in sport that can grow through the college and become leaders. And then just taking the time to talk to me, even though it was through Zoom, and just encourage me to come in and just be so positive. And I never felt intimidated coming in or scared to reach out and ask a question. And then also with Deanna, we talked on the phone a lot, and I felt really comfortable coming in and welcomed. And just seeing her in practice every day, bringing Josie in, and she's explaining a drill and holding her baby while doing it and putting her hands up and shoving people and getting in there. That's super inspiring to see, and just makes me want to be a better female in coaching. And yeah, just a great role model to have.
Paige, I'm sure you can relate to that one.
Sorry, I was having trouble unmuting, but yes, definitely. And I actually returned to play after I had my daughter. So I'd be on the sideline, and I think she was about 8 months at the time when I first started coming back to play with the Canadian 3-on-3 team. So I have videos of her clapping, and it's one of my most cherished memories of my career, actually.
That's awesome. I know a few of you know this, but I spent 17 years in the States in the NCAA, Division II the entire time. But, and I think honestly, Division II is a little bit ahead of the game because one of their big pushes was work and balance or work-life and balance. But watching some of the women that I worked with and the single moms, the married moms, just the mom word in itself and coach, good God. If there was ever a day where I wanted to woe and self-pity, I came out of it pretty quick because all I had to do was just go to a practice that wasn't mine. And if there was any sort of complaint, I literally probably just had to smack myself to go, yeah, smarten up. You're not battling with near what you're doing here, but to be inspired to actually come back and go harder, it was really just amazing to watch. And one other thing I just wanted to bring up that I know I was very proud of in watching last year, or I guess it was a year ago now, is going to the women's basketball championships and looking at they were doing a press conference before the tournament started, and looking at the row of coaches, and this isn't taking anything to that row that was there, but you had 8 head coaches, 7 male, 1 female. But who was the coach of the year? The female. And that was cool. So just wanted to throw that in there. But open it up. Like, is there anybody else that wants to share a story? Because I think I said this in my email to our panel, is that I love a great story, and I know there's some good ones here. So please, if you want to speak, I know we're at 7:59. I don't mind going longer. I don't mind footing the bill. Not that there's really a big bill to pay, but I'm sure nobody's that excited about getting to prizes anyways. But if there's more stories, please jump in.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind sharing a little story here. So I come from a male-dominated field of work. Like, I'm working in a boys' club every single day. I work in the woods with old men who have been doing that for their job for the last 50 years. So at times it can feel like I'm doing nothing but fighting for my position at work, in life, in everything. It's just 2 steps behind everybody else, proving why I need to be there more than my male counterpart at times. So I just wanted to say how refreshing it is to be able to come to the college and not feel that way, and get equal press on both sides of the teams, and have every coach come and watch games, and players come to I've seen basketball and volleyball players come to our soccer games, which is amazing because it's not as desirable a sport to watch for as many people. So it's just nice to feel that support and to feel like I don't have to go out of my way to prove my airtime and why I'm important, why I need to be here. And I've just felt nothing but gratitude and just the positive energy from the college. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. Just give everybody on my team a little bit of a break and be able to just play sports and have fun, and that's why we're all in it in the first place. So thank you to the college for that.
Anybody else?
I don't necessarily have a story, but I guess one thing for me, an overarching thing, just for the importance of having women leaders in sport development and other areas of sport. I think it's so important because, in my opinion, if we can achieve that equality and respect in sport, I think we can probably achieve it anywhere. it's so male dominated. This path was paved by men because we didn't really get that opportunity to pave it for ourselves. So naturally, it's just so male dominated. And so I think if we, you know, can achieve that equality, that respect for women on our side, that it makes it less daunting for women in other areas to advocate for that. I think it creates a safer space just globally for women to go off of, and I think it makes it less threatening for the men that resist it as well. So I think that's one thing. Just we're privileged to be here, but at the same time, I think we still have a long way to go. And as women involved with sport, we have still, you know, a lot of weight to carry on our shoulders and a lot of work to put in. And I think it was Kirsten that said it, that like Lethbridge College, like we do a fantastic job of understanding the importance of women being involved in leadership in all areas, especially in athletics. So sometimes it's disheartening when you hear about, like, you know, discrepancies between NBA, WNBA, or in the NCAA Final Four, our March Madness tournament right now. I think it's kind of shocking and surprising sometimes that it's not just a global acceptance in other institutions. And so, yeah, I think sometimes it's just a little bit of a shock, but I guess my big thing is, yes, we've come a long way. The fact that we have, you know, so many people, like we're able to make a panel of almost all women besides Todd, like I think that's super cool. But I think just things still happening now tell me that we have a lot of work to do. We owe the young women and men coming after us more work to create an even safer, more accepting space of, you know, all races, genders, religions, whatever it is. I think we owe that to the people coming after us. So yeah, I just wanted to add in those 2 cents.
Love that. I think, unless there's anyone that really has a story here, I'd like to get to our prizes. I just have to get back to work myself. But if somebody has a story.
I'm gonna just jump in real quick,
Yeah,
Kayla.
for sure.
At the risk of Todd's head completely exploding off his body from all this praise that he's gotten tonight, I just really want to emphasize again, like, how important it is for us as women to have men who are willing to put things out on the line for us. I know Todd said it in the beginning. Anna and I, if it was any other athletic director, Anna and I wouldn't be here. Like, and I think we both know that. And we both know that we were given an opportunity to do something that at a lot of other institutions wouldn't happen. But it didn't stop the moment that we got hired. It has continued through the entire time that I've been at the college. You know, again, last year, I spent, I don't know how many hours in Todd's office. Holly and Ada can probably count as well, crying. Again, the tears came out. I'm blaming them on pregnancy hormones that time, about how do I continue to coach and raise a family and be an example to these young women so that they can see that they can do whatever they want to do, you know. And Paige commented that she ran into times when people were like, well, okay, you have too much of a commitment, like you have to be here 100%. It doesn't matter that you have a kid, like you've got to figure that out. And having people in positions of power, especially men, when their voices a lot of times are heard more than ours, to say, you can do it. I believe that you can do it. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to come up with a plan that you can continue to do these things. That just means a lot to me. And I know we're talking about women and empowering women and having men behind that as well who understand that importance is just as important. And I think understanding that what they're doing is raising these women's voices up is huge. And again, I'm thankful for Todd. I'm thankful for, a lot of those men that we see who give us that push to keep going, and then step out and let us stand in the light. I'm just really grateful for that and appreciate what Todd's done. And a lot of us are here, and he's went out and searched out every single person to be here, to be a part of this, to be a part of this panel. I know he loves the girl gang. He, like, when he talks about the girl gang, he lights up, he gets so excited. It actually like makes me giggle because he's so excited about this group of women who are empowering young girls and empowering, young adult women. And I just think that's really awesome as well. So Todd, don't let your head explode. You're still bald. I'll throw it in there. So yeah.
Todd, you good over there? Oh, he's muted.
I'm going to let you wrap it up.
Sounds good. Well, I really appreciate all these great stories that we were able to share. I will speak for myself in saying this felt very empowering to see all the strong females on here sharing their stories. A reminder that, you aren't just good for a girl, you are good. And so just keep encouraging those younger girls, encouraging your teammates, encouraging the females in your life. Yeah, that's what I would say. We'll start off with our door prizes here. Todd, which one's first?
Oh, let's go with the Hudson's $25 gift card.
All right, so I've got everyone's name on this random generator thing. Here we go. It's a little wheel.
Oh, even a drum roll.
Our first prize goes to Kurt Niehoff. Kurt.
I think Kurt won last week.
Did he?
I think so.
Pays to be here. All right, what's our next door prize?
You know what? I think it's time for a Girl Gang YQL shirt.
Ooh.
Some swag from the Be Kind girls.
All right. Nice. We have Denise Busayong. I hope I'm not butchering these names.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
All right. A Kodiaks swag that Kayla picked up today, so I don't know what it is.
Oh, they're nice. They're downstairs. I should have brought them up here to show you, but they're sweet. Oh. Kira Pikama.
All right. A $20 gift card from Pizza Hut. I'm not going to lie. I just about kept that one for myself. I do love
Glenda Barwagon.
No. Just kidding. Okay, and last but not least, the second Kodiak swag item.
Gord Verink.
Excellent.
Again, I hope I didn't butcher anyone's names.
So award winners, primarily the ones that we don't know. If you wouldn't mind, we'll probably send out an email just to find out an emailing or a mailing address, and we can get that stuff to you because unfortunately no public is still allowed on campus yet, but hopefully we'll get there sometime soon. And I just want to be able to say, you know what? I want to challenge everybody out there. Younger girls, younger females coming up that to get involved in the sports, and it doesn't have to be as a coach. It can be as an administrator. It can be as an athletic therapist. And, because you all have such a huge impact. And we need more women in sports and in leadership positions. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. I'm glad we were able to put this together. This was one session I was really excited about. Super, like, very happy that that Stephanie and Jess, and now I guess I know Taylor is part of that girl gang piece. I just hadn't had the chance to meet Taylor yet. I don't think, anyways. But then to have Sarah Orban come back and again take the time from her training, and then Paige, the two surprise guests, to be able to join in, because this is a forum that I want to continue. And I got to tell you, I really am inspired right now to see if maybe we can do this more often and see what's out there. So again, thank you, everybody. And you know what, if there's any kind of feedback, if you feel like there's information that we missed out on, or that we can utilize to, again, develop more women in sport, please let me know. I'll be more than happy. So
Hey, Todd.
otherwise, oh yeah, jump in.
Sorry, I just saw that there was a question posted in the chat, and Stephanie had answered it a little bit. I just wanted to bring it up because I'm sure other people have comments, but Gord, said the common theme I heard was that the athletes aren't getting female coaches until post-secondary. How can we get female coaches in development roles? I think that would help keep more girls in sports. And Stephanie touched on that, girls are dropping out of sports in early adolescence. I think it would be really important to help, like, if you think about who your coaches were when you were playing recreational sports, it was a parent of somebody on the team. And quite often that is given, it's the dad who goes and does it because mom is doing everything else. I think for something like that to be effective to help keep, girls experience women head coaches at a younger age is to, and again, this is going to be a big ask, but I think if you start in a small aspect, change that societal expectation that mom runs the house at home. It's a team effort. And if my daughter is out playing sports, I want to be able to go and coach her in that sport. My husband's a volleyball player, grew up playing volleyball. He referees volleyball. So if Josie decides that volleyball is her sport, it's probably going to be him coaching her. Kirsten's shaking her head no. She's decided that Jose is definitely a basketball player. But if she goes to play basketball at a young age, I want to do everything that I can to be that example for her, because a lot of her teammates are only going to experience a female if a mom is able to step up. The other thing that I think is super important, some of these youth basketball, volleyball leagues, getting our female athletes into those leagues as coaches on their summers where they're not doing anything is also highly important. I know that I learned a lot from coaching teams like that. It reminded me why I coach college athletes and not 11 and 12-year-olds. But I think that's another step that we can take, is empowering our, young women, that once you're out of that, giving back to your community as well is another way to expose these young girls to women in coaching, women in leadership roles.
And that's a great answer. I couldn't agree more. And I'm sorry I missed the question, because that is a great question. So anybody else want to jump in on that? Especially somebody like a Danielle who just got into the coaching world. Paige, I mean, you've been around the block a few times in that sense. So
I really like what Deanna said. And I think, like, for me, since I played the sport and now I'm coaching, it's partially my responsibility to take on like a mentorship role, because support is so important, knowing that there's a community behind these coaches that want to get involved, and building the capacity of female coaches at the like grassroots level to kind of streamline the sport development.
And I think we're really lucky here in Southern Alberta. Some of those grassroots levels, organizations that support sport and support coaches are actually run by women, and have a strong board strong female representation on their boards and things like that as well. So I think we look towards what's in our community and see what we're able to do or develop. There's lots of return to play stuff right now, and if we can develop that coaching side of thing as well, I think we're setting up our younger generations for more success and growth and experiences than what many of you guys have explained on the line here today. So.
And Gordon, I know just from the college perspective, one of the things I really tried to do to get the coaches using this practice is because I coached for a long time, 23 years at the college level. And I always found the best athletes at the time were the ones that I got involved in coaching club or coaching the elementary schools, volunteering, doing clinics, outreach clinics, those kind of things. So that's one of the things we've really tried to do with the Kodiaks is get out there more and do those kind of clinics and get the student athletes in there so that they're also inspiring somebody that might be interested, like it could be a mom that played high school volleyball, but just never really knew how to get in there. And so what we're going to follow up with for these next 4 sessions is the sports specific sections or sessions that will allow hopefully some people in the community to be able to come in and hear, how did I get there? And hopefully there's some inspiration built there. So obviously COVID has set that back a little bit too, but it is something that we're actively trying to do. We may have come to the end here. So again, I'll just thank everybody. I want to thank Kayla for taking most of the MC role off of me. But again, everybody, have a great night. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy. And if any of you ever want to bend my ear, again, I love a good story. So thank you, everybody, and go Kodiaks.